So, last time we finished, well, almost finished with how we control our setups, but we have one small problem that we kind of lost. We kind of lost the ability to block. So let's actually test this and see where it is. Okay, control. Okay, control. I'm going to go into battle phase, and you can see that this guy is on control still. When I enter, we are on first control, so we entirely lost our block phase, and this guy now is not in block, he's actually in control. That's why I could drop this. But when I click and turn, actually it's now bugged entirely, as you can see. So yeah, there's a little bit of a screw up in here. So we need to find why that is. So I'm going to first go onto a phase that is resetted. Okay, so I'm going to end the turn here. I'm going to attack from this guy. This guy attacks. Okay, I'm ending the turn. And you see that if the host, I hosted from the build this time, if the host ends the turn, you're actually getting damage without being able to block. But if the opposite happens, battle phase, ending the turn, the host this time doesn't even go onto the block phase. He's missing both the block phase, he goes right onto the block phase, because I can keep drawing things down, as you can see, like this. Okay, so close that, clear that, and let's take a dive and see what we're actually doing here. Local player turn, we have a local player, we have our current phase. Okay, then this will be running on all of them, but of course it doesn't, as we can see. So player block phase, but reserve. Let's take a look at our multiplayer manager. I think it might be the case that we're sending more than we need to end turns, or we're sending both players to end the phase. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at the end turn, and let's see where we're using this. We're only using this when the game manager says that it's complete, that this turn is complete. So technically we should only be using end current phase. Yeah, so that's what we do over here. I think I want to change this, and let's say get player, the photon ID, and this returns a network print. Okay, we have our print. From the print we can check for the player holder, and if that equals the current player, then you end the phase. Okay, that might not actually do anything new. This could be just the same thing. So we're ending the current phase. But let's start checking for blocking. When we initiate our block, which should be inside turns block phase. You know what, let's put a breakpoint. I don't know if we could actually solve this any other way. Let's put a breakpoint, attach that to Unity. Let's do a build and run. This shouldn't take much to do. Okay, let this on the side until right here. Okay, then connecting. Actually, I'm going to put the breakpoint after we start the first turn. Otherwise, we might get disconnected from Photon. And yeah, I did something stupid. I started both players at the same time, so that means both players didn't find the room. So we can connect. So I'm going to restart again from the editor. So now I can find the room the other player created. Okay, so we're in. I'm going to start dropping this guy. Okay, I think we should vanish the end turn on the players that don't have that, it's not their turn. Okay, end turn. Okay, so this is the turn where we should add that. We're going to add a breakpoint for this. I'm going to end turn. I'm going to go on to battle. I'm going to end the turn. And here's what it happened. We actually never got the breakpoint. So that means our block phase doesn't even start. Interesting. So let's see when it's going to decide to start. So after the battle phase, it decided to do so. Decided to start after the battle phase. That's interesting. Let's see why though. Get set player control state. Okay. On phase change. It's going to look for the attacking cards. It's going to find one. What? Yeah, okay, it did find one. Continue, and then it's going to be coming here all the time. So init won't let it, it's going to be false. We can remove that. And click continue. Now this guy is at block, but he's at block after he was on yeah, now we dropped this, but he's at block after we passed through the control and the battle resolve phase, which is really super weird. So I think maybe we need to do a little bit of a better phase management and maybe let the network control which phase goes where, instead of doing this. So for that to happen, we're going to need a rewrite a little bit for this. Okay, I guess we kinda hit a roadblock over here. I think this, even if it does work, it's a little bit of a hassle to work with. So okay, let's see how we could rewrite this. I guess there's no point in trying to fix something that's fundamentally broken. It's not going to be a complete rewrite, so don't worry about that. But here's what I think we should be doing. We have our multiplayer manager that basically controls most of our states. Okay, so I'm going to create some variables that are going to allow us to control which states are which. So I'm going to go onto my scripts. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go onto my terms and I'm going to create a new script which I'm going to call turns phase holder. Or just turns holder, I guess. Let's open that up. So let's pause that. Let's delete these two, we don't need them, and I'm going to create this as a scriptable object. Then I'm going to make a serializable class which is going to be or just turn holder or turn container. Actually, you know what, it's not a turn, it's just a phase, so it's phase container. So even turns holder is not the accurate name, but anyway. Okay, so we have phase container. All I need to do to have over here is I'll need a public string for the phase ID. Okay, because now we have to do with network, we can't pass through our RPCs, we can't really pass classes or stuff like that. Okay, we have to pass primitives. Those primitives, of course, string is one of the primitives, so that means we can sync all players by saying this player has this phase, so play. Okay, and the other player will just do nothing, will just be sitting and doing nothing. So we have our phase ID, and then on the player not on the player manager, we need our actual turns. I think we take the phase, okay, so we will be able to plug the phases like this. And in here, I'm going to have to add an init, and all I want for this will be, doesn't need to be a list, we just need a phase container, oops, that's Greek, phase container, all phases, you know what, we actually don't even need the phase ID, we can just use yeah, okay, that will make the phases, however, to be really based on the names we have here, so that can lead to some troubles. Okay, so we have battle resolve, all these things. Well, then I guess it's going to be the same thing as the other ones. Yeah, okay, screw this. So delete the container, we don't really care for that. And here let's just create a public phase array, all phases. Okay, we're going to have a non-serialized dictionary. We don't need this to be public. For string phase, and on init we're simply going to be adding phase dictionary, all phases I.name, all phases I, and when we want to get a phase bug, public phase get phase, we're going to need to have its ID, so its name, phase, return value, null, return UR, and then of course phase dictionary, try and get value R ID out R. Okay, so this way we're going to make sure only the correct player has actually the phase. we can hook this up, and that's the reason why I'm doing a scriptable object, because I didn't want to have even more stuff on the multiplayer manager, because we will have to mess with a prefab. This way we only have to mess with the scriptable object. But if you wanted to have that code here, or I guess inside the main data holder, that should do anyway, you can just do that as well. So public turn holder, turns holder. So now I can do an RPC. I'm not going to delete the turn management just yet. Let's rename this to turn management. So now the idea is we're going to do public void. Actually, that's the thing. Player ends turn. We're going to be sending this to the master client. The master client is going to be handling which phase is actually running right now. Okay, and from that we're going to be sending back player enders phase. So let's minimize all of this. Or actually player ends turn. Okay, this happens here. No, this ends turn. We need an end phase. So public void player ends phase photon ID. Okay, and yeah, we need the RPC. Let's write the RPC. Public void player ends phase integer photon ID. We don't have to know which phase he actually ends, but if you want to be a little bit safer, so you know, maybe somebody wants to hack and switch a phase, but since the master is controlling this, which phase it is, yeah, you won't really be able to do that. So photo view with lowercase RPC player ends phase, send that to master, and you're going to get the photon ID for him. Okay, so master calculates or manages phases here, or ends the turn for this player. Then he's going to send an RPC for public void RPC set phase to player. We're going to know we want our target player. So when we are setting a phase to a player, that will always mean a phase for the, that will always mean only one player is assigned a phase. The other player would just sit idle and won't be able to do anything. Okay, we'll see for spells later, but let's fix this right now. And we need to know the current phase we're going to be in, which means this is obsolete now. The entire update in here is going to be obsolete because we won't be having turns, or at least we won't be having turns inside the game manager. So none of this will actually be working. So I'm going to delete the, I'm going to comment all of this out. And let's see, we have our current state, not null, current state tick. We're going to need the current state, but only for the player that actually plays. Okay, so we're going to be basically controlling the game managers from the multiplayer manager. which means, let's see an example, phase, and we're going to say if photon ID dot equals local player dot photon ID. We're going to put an else over here. Then we're going to find the phase, turn holder, get phase. We already have the phase. That will be that phase. Okay, get phase. Then game manager dot so that this needs to change as well. Okay, on the game manager we're going to have to set up the phases, however. So the way we are running we are executing the turns in here. This entire thing needs to move on the multiplayer manager. Okay, let's see how we can do this. We can move this onto, actually I think we can run at the on start phase just when we receive the RPC, so that will be simpler. And okay, let's do it like that. So I'm going to take all of this. We don't want this anymore. We want to know if the phase is complete, so we send the RPC. So you know what, let's copy all of this, go onto the game manager. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to paste this over here. We need a reference to a current phase. We don't going to want this here, and so basically all I'm going to do, I'm going to collapse all of this in here. Probably will make more sense if we keep it above. So let's start deleting things. Actually, we want to have player holder for we don't necessarily need the current player, I believe. We do use it extensively, so okay, forget that. Let's see. Let's start deleting this. Actually, we don't want this to turn text. It doesn't work exactly as we want to already, so it doesn't matter. We're going to have some issues. Okay, we'll fix them. On the update, then for the update, we're going to have a phase, current phase, like this. Okay, and we're going to have a method that assigns the current phase. Okay, now current phase, we don't need this either, not this. We just want to know if phase or current phase is complete. Okay, then phase is complete. If it is complete, we don't need this either. We don't want this to run here. We don't have an index anymore. It's all controlled through the multiplayer manager, and the multiplayer manager is going to say player ends phase. We need to know the local player photon ID. Let's find, do we ever assign this? Yeah, okay, it does get assigned. Okay, so player ends phase, just so that we are not running into problems with this, so it's not running this again. I'm going to say current phase, set it to null. If current, no, that's not an if current phase is null, return. Okay, you won't be running the update anymore. Okay, so we have our current phase complete, and it's going to send to the multiplayer manager that your phase is done. Master client, here's where we're going to manage the new phases, and here's where we're going to be sending this back. If the photon ID for your local player is not null, then that means on our game manager we can say set current phase, target phase. But if it is null, you're going to say set current phase and set it to null. Okay. However, I think we do have some logic that runs when we end a phase, but maybe we can maybe we can solve that without even having to worry about doing on end phase, because with this we can always run an on start phase. So set current phase, target phase, okay. For target phase we can say on start phase, do the logic you have there if you have something, okay, because it could be something that cycles around, or it only runs once and never has to run again. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the isInit bool, and let's start managing all these errors. Init game, all of this will have to move on to the multiplayer manager. Same with this. Same with this. This as well. So we, okay, end current phase, we will have to update this as well. Local player ends battle resolve. Okay, this can also be commented out. We'll have to rework this. Now, we now have a lot of things that are left with this. So let's start commenting things. We're going to need, of course, we're going to need a few of these. But for example, instead of, let's start playing with this. So local player dot photon ID, if it equals the player holder, or local player if it equals that player holder, then reset your flat foot card. Change current turn, we don't have this anymore. Same with this. Player wants, okay. On end phase, as you can see, we are running this, so we don't care for that. On start phase, we're just simply going to remove the isInit, because we now know only once, it's running only once. Okay, there goes the errors. We can entirely delete the end phase, just so that we know we don't have any end phase doing something we don't want to. Okay, we can delete this as well. isInit, and I think we are missing. We have one more bracket that we need. We can also delete this as well. Yeah, so even though we're going to have to do a little bit of refactoring, we have to, yeah, I think this was needed. Okay, we don't want you, because we were getting really messed up in there. So I think for errors that should do it, at least on the Visual Studio compiler. I guess not, we are still missing a few. Let's move this below. Although, yeah, this one doesn't matter because it's asynchronous. Client empty phase. Okay, we're not really going to need this anymore. Okay, that's okay. Player control phase. Delete that. We don't need this. Okay, there goes that, and end phase. Okay, but we are not running our states anymore. What's this? This is an action, okay, and this tells us current phase.value is not a block phase. Yeah, so all this needs to just be current phase. We're not going to be able to access it, however. And you know what? We're not even going to need this because you'll see why. And we need... Oh, we are keeping this differently. Okay. So... Yeah, okay. So we're going to have to create a new action just for the block, or I guess here's what we can do. Public bool is blocking, and if it's not blocking, we're simply going to create a new scriptable object and tick this to true. So if you're not blocking, you are here. If you are blocking, you are doing this. Okay, so there goes that. On end phase, and this is the turn. Okay, we don't really need anything from the turn. We're not even going to be using them. The other thing that we're going to need is we're going to have to set up a way we manage the phases or the order they execute. Okay, so that's actually simple because on our turns holder we can just have a public string for phase execution order, or I guess phase order. Okay, so let's go and set the turns holder up, which means let's go to data. So basically over here, let's go under variables, or let's use it in resources. So we're going to do a turns holder, and let's start putting phases we have. The order here doesn't matter. The order we add them over here. Client, no, we don't need the client empty phase. Control phase player. Player block phase. Return current player for current source. Now, this one can easily be integrated inside player block phase. We'll do that later. So we have 5 phases, and we're going to have to keep the exact names we see here. Just keep that in mind because we are using a dictionary. So we're going to start with a player block phase. We're going to move down to battle resolve, then player or control phase player, and then battle phase. I think we're missing something. Yeah, we do. We are missing the reset current player card resources. So we're going to duplicate that, and we're going to say reset current player card. Yeah, okay. Reset player references, and click that. Reset player references. Okay, and back to turn holder. So we only need 5. Awesome. Let's go down to our multiplayer manager. We're going to have to open the prefab. This is on the latest Unity, that's why you see this. It's the nested prefabs. So I'm just going to drag this down here. Okay, and we are set with that. Now, on multiplayer manager, which will be somewhere here, let's pin this because we're going to need it. When starting the match, let's collapse everything. Blocking multiple card operations. Okay, card operations, turn management, start match. Okay, we're going to have actually, you know what, let's move. We're going to have to start counting turns, so we need a turn, not a turn, a phase index, phase index. We're going to have to save the current player ID. We have a phase index, and yeah, I think those two will do for now. On start match, we're going to wait till all of these are done. Okay, Rpc Init game sets up the starting player. So current player ID will be the starting player. Init game, let's see what this is doing. Absolutely nothing because we removed it. Okay, so remove that, and this Rpc sends it. Let's see. This Rpc is sent over here. Is sent it to everybody. Okay, so that means if we're sending this to everybody, if we just do player holder, or yeah, current player ID, and if we just do send phase, actually, you know what, that's not how we should do this. We should be passing the integer for the phase index here. Let's turn this onto is multiplayer, but I'm going to send an Rpc again. Well, it's going to be 2 Rpcs anyway. For not card operations. Where is it? Or was it card operations? It's not. Turn management. So I'm going to set an Rpc. Actually, you know what? Screw this. Delete. Don't need this. On we're we're going to send another RPC for set face to player, which is going to go over here beneath this photon view RPC set face to player all. Now we need to pass the name or the ID of the player, which that will be 1 because it's the first player that enters, and the turn now will just be from the turn, the phase will be turns holder, all phases. Yeah, turns holder dot all phases, or phase executions actually, phase order dot the index we have over here, which of course at first is going to be 0. Okay, so this will set the phase to the player. When the player ends a phase or sends that he ends it, and we receive that on the master client, we're going to be counting this. So we're going to be saying phase index plus plus if phase index is greater than the tens holder phase order dot length minus 1, then the player has ended his turn, and that means player ends turn. That means our phase index is going to go back to 0. And we're going to start having the players. We have a list of players. So we also need a player index. It's a player index. We need a list for all our players. Do we have that? We should have that. Yeah, it's the players. Okay. So player index plus plus if player index higher than 0. What? Player index higher than players dot count minus 1. Player index is set to 0. Then RPC photon view. Then we need a call. No, this happens on the master. Yeah, so this needs to, we can just do the RPC directly here. Photon view RPC, that's not what we need. RPC set phase to player. The new player now will be players player index dot photon ID. Parameters, the parameters we're going to need will be turns, phase order, and phase index. And we forgot to assign the targets. Okay, so with this we're sending we're telling that this player now has this photon ID, this player has this. Okay, in turn this is going to send, because it sent it to everybody. If it's the local player, it's going to assign the phase. If it's not, it's going to nullify the phase. So we now need to actually add the player end phase, and one place to do this will be onto the game manager, as we have here, and current phase which we can say if local player, we can actually say if current phase not null, you can send this, otherwise we are cheating. And we can do multiplayer manager singleton send or player ends phase local player photon ID. So this will cover the button. Now, however, there is a few phases that also had some state stuff, some state manager stuff. And we were doing this from, let's compile, from the turns, inside the turns. So you can see that our local player turn, it did have some turn start actions, which we're going to have to move somewhere else. And you can see that we were always setting up, no, this is the phase. Let's find it. Okay, this had a few things as well. We're going to have to find the solution to somewhere to place these things as well. Although, I guess that's already inside the state manager. Local player turn. Phase. Resolve, reset player references. Okay. But yeah, as I was saying, you can see that the control phase also needs a player control state. But here's what we can do to this. We can say if force exit is true, then exit the state. But if player control state dot if you have a player control state, just execute your actions. So do a tick. You only need to pass the time.delta time, and this will run the action, the state we have assigned over there. Now, I think we need to also add the end phase when we are complete with this, which we never call because we are doing that on the game manager. Let's see our update. Okay, if the phase is complete, player ends phase. Okay, that's all correct. Awesome. So I think if we now do a build, most of our logic should still be there, but we won't be able to interact, or we might get stuck on the first phase. So I'm going to go and add some debug logs so that we can see that everything is working. We are sending the RPCs the way they are meant to be. So debug.log set phase player, okay, and it's going to do all of that. I think set phase to player, we can just pass phase player for photon ID to string plus phase to phase. So at least I think with this we will be able to get 3 phases. So if this when this compiles and both players join, we should at least get the console to say that it moved from the block, it moved from the battle resolve, and now he is on control. And we might be able to also control things in the control phase. We'll see. Hit play. I'm going to host from the editor. So we can actually we are actually the first ones that we get in. Connected. waiting for player, ready for match. Okay, we got an Rpc error because we forgot to clean up our init game. Let's find it. Init game. And yeah, we were passing the phase index, so delete that. Player block phase, this was correct. And oh yeah, we don't have, that's interesting, we got oh yeah, we never run the turn index, so the init for the turn holder. Okay, small errors, but nothing major. We already fixed one. Now all we need to do is make sure when we instantiate a network print, not a network print, our photon instance, we're going to go turn holder and do an init. One thing we also forgot to do is on init, just in case you run this twice, do a clear on your phase dictionary. Okay, I think with this we should actually have more behavior than I realized, but we also forgot to do something about the turn starts, the turn start actions, these three. But even with those missing, we still have done a lot of things, so that's okay, I guess. Let this build, and we're going to try it, and if we do get the three phases, we're going to end this part because we are close to an hour. Okay, hit play, connected, waiting for player, connected, both players are in. What do we miss? We're missing so target phase can't be null in this statement, it can be null on this statement, so we're now missing the game manager, which means we never assigned him. Let's go to definition. I think it's probably, no, I don't know actually what this is. Let's see why we're missing that. Yeah, technically we won't really, that's interesting. Why are you missing the game manager? What's weird though, we already sent the player the phase. Unless it sent it too fast and we weren't able to load it. So, for starting the match, where are we calling this from? Instead of doing this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give him an artificial delay. Let's say of 2 seconds or 0.2 seconds. Awesome. Unfortunately, we are going to have to do another build, which is okay. Awesome. Move that aside. And technically we should have no issues, though technically everything works. Okay, you're connected. Let's see if we are connected. And still we get... Okay, this error we got is really nothing. It just means there's no value assigned over here, which we don't care. So player block phase, as you can see, yeah, now it's going to compile. As you can see, we did got the first one, so we know at least we have assigned a phase to this. I think on our game manager we are not saying the init, yeah, or are we? Let's see, if not is init, yeah, we're not sending the is init anymore because of this. Okay, so I'm just going to do is init. We don't really care for, actually we don't even need to do this. Let's just do on the multiplayer manager, on init we have the init game, yeah, init game, move that down, and we can just say gm.is, damn it, is init anyway. Okay, we can do that. Let's say init game. I don't really want this to be public, the is init, because there's no need to, so we're just going to do this. Okay, so this will allow the update to run. We still need it. Actually, you know what? We don't necessarily need it because current phase will still be null. Okay. Close that. Close that. Close that as well. And we can actually do. No, okay. Let's leave that for later. Let's do another build and run, and I think this time we should have it working perfectly. Hit play, move this aside, hit play. Connected. Wait for player. Oh, not done. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, we're now doing other things in the block phase. So I don't want to mess this up because we're going to need this later. So let's just go and change the phase, the block phase directly, and later we'll just fix it. So on start phase, I'm just going to do a return, and I'm going to do a force exit equals true. On the battle phase, I'm going to do the same thing because this will check for all those stuff. So I'm going to say force exit equals true and return. Okay, I just want to see that changing phases works exactly as it's supposed to. Build and run. In hindsight, maybe we should have used this system, but yeah, we didn't actually start with multiplayer in mind. So, well, we did have multiplayer in mind, but we had to test this offline. Okay, start game. Red match. Block phase. Okay. So let's start debugging. We are on a game manager. The block phase now should have run. That it didn't. So attach this to Unity and let's go onto the game manager over here, and let's put a breakpoint inside update, and it hit that right away. Let's put it under current phase. Continue. Equals null, it's true. So actually, I think what's happening is that this guy is this guy's turn. So let's see. Actually, no, it's not. It's neither of those. And let's see, do we even come in here? We never come in here. You do come in here because this, yeah, because this is null. Current phase is null, which means set current phase never gets called. Let's do final references, which means probably this is wrong. Let's do a breakpoint here. We don't need this one. And now we're never going to get the call unless we click and turn. No, we're going to have to start again. So close that. Let's start this again. Let's see, where do we get, where do we have the breakpoint? Okay, RPC set phase to player. Let's put a breakpoint to every place we are using this. So this will be the other position to do place it. Actually, let's not place this one here. We know Init game now works. Okay, hit play. Okay, photon ID. This is one, this is one. Get phase, set current phase. On start phase, then, oh, now we passed it. Okay, now we passed it. Let's quickly press continue. Now we passed it, but we got disconnected. Huh, okay, let's stop that. Set current phase to target phase. Unless the phase were actually, you know what, let's make sure these always are init. Poll is init. Just in case we have some race issues, but I think should be fine. Doesn't make sense why it wouldn't be fine, but you know, comes with the territory. Okay, we're not. Why are we still playing? Let's do build a run. Awesome, so hit play. Move that aside. Hit play. Start. Okay, so at least we're not getting errors. we're still only on one phase, and we forgot to assign this. Attach this to Unity. Game Manager. Yeah, so I think what's happening, we never assign the photon ID to the local player. We have a few things. This happens on the master. So this is an oxymoron. It's a local player. Okay, I don't know if this runs before we actually have something. Okay, we're going to have to improvise. So, on to multiplayer manager. We're going to keep the breakpoint here. We're going to keep the breakpoint here. Let's start again. Minimize that. Hit play. Okay, we are connecting. Start. Wait for player connected. Okay, so this is true. That means we're going to get in, we're going to play. Now, target phase has actually a block phase. Let's get into. Okay, it's going to find this. Okay, so it's going to find the set phase. So that will mean we now have a current phase. Let's put this as well. Continue. Where our current phase is null. It's not. Phase is complete. Is complete. I think it's going to go on to the block phase. So let's find our block phase, which is this one. Oh, I think. No, that shouldn't be the case. Should it? No, this will run on. Yeah, this will run. So if we put a breakpoint here and a breakpoint here, let's see. Phase is complete. Okay. Force exit is true. Step over is false. Set this to false. It's going to return true. Then on the game manager, let's put a breakpoint here. Phase is complete. Current phase is set back to that. Player end phase. Player ends phase. Let's put this one here. Oh. Oops. Here's the problem. We never send the. When we end the phase, we never send the new phase. So, phase index and player index. Yeah, so I think if we just remove this entirely, it will do the same thing. Photon ID, phase order. Okay. My bad. Okay, close that. We don't need, we're going to have to create a new build, but I think we won't really need anything else. So the problem was that here on our phase index, we were only doing things if we were running out of a phase order. we still need to be sending the next phase, even if we, not run out of phases. That's why it wasn't sending 3 phases and so on and so on. So hit play. Actually, don't know if the build was actually done. I wasn't paying attention. So let's hit a build and run once more just to be safe, and we will be back. So we're almost done actually with this part. But after this, I think we won't really be running into many problems, at least until we find out how we can do spells or whatever. Connected, start game. Okay. So we run the issue that we're only looking for from the battle phase. Oh, we set the battle phase, we didn't fix the battle resolve phase. That's why we got that. Awesome. So you know what, if we just go onto the battle resolve and remove this and just keep the force exit, now it's going to work fine and you're going to be on the control phase. Just to see if the rest is going to run fine, so that we are able to throw down cards and so on and so on. I'm going to do another build and run, the final one. Whatever happens in this case, we are ending the video and we'll take it from there. Move this aside, hit play. Start game, wait for player, start game. Awesome. Okay, everything works fine. So we pass from the block phase, the battle resolve, we are setting the player references, and we have our control phase, which is something we really want. Yeah, so that's basically what we needed. The only thing that we are not doing is we don't run these two, which of course also means we cannot pick up a card from deck. I think load on active doesn't really do anything. Load player on active. Yeah, whatever this is doesn't matter. But you know what? Let's fix this. I think it's going to be simple. I need to find what type these are. I think these are state actions. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go onto my turns holder and I'm going to paste this in here. So when we are actually setting up a new turn, we're also going to be sending out these actions. Technically, these actions should run on the control phase for each player, because that's when you can pick up the card from your deck and when you can reset your flat-footed card. So instead of the turns holder, I'm going to go and set it up onto the control phase. Okay, or I guess no, we don't keep any more actions there, or I guess we could just handle this here. Problem is, no, there's no problem. We have an on start phase. Awesome. So that means for each state action, is it a state action? Player action. In start turn start actions, action dot execute player holder. Oh, we do need the player holder. Game manager. Singleton, or yeah, settings, game manager, local player, and voila, and that's about it. So for completeness sake, let's test this as well. And before we test that, we do need to go onto our phase and assign the start actions, and that will be the control phase player. I'm going to only use, okay, let's use 3 of them. Actually, I'm only going to use 2 because I don't know what the load, or don't remember what the load active from deck does, because it might not be really doing anything. Play. Connect it. Ready for match? Yeah, okay. We have another reference, but I'm actually curious if this was the holder, the active holder. So let's check that, because it's super simple to do now. We need to just do this and rebuild. So I think with this we should be done. I think. Or well, let's hope so. Hit play. Okay, connected. Yep. Okay. Well, at least we are halfway there. If we take a look over here, everything works fine. Okay, awesome. So I'm really happy with the refactor we did for this. We only have to fix a few bugs that are left from everything we just did. There's also this case. This guy doesn't really have anything, but we can pass that through RPC, so I'm not really worried. So let's finish with this part. This was a longer one than usual, but then again, I'm pretty sure you are pretty familiar with the length of my videos. So as always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe if you like to see more stuff like this. Of course, consider supporting me on Patreon so we can keep making all of these nice things. I'll see you next time.